So how do you actually access the minus world? This is where we get into the glitch itself. At the end of World 1-2, there's the warp zone area. Normally, you can reach it by finding the ceiling exit, running across the top of the level, and entering the warp room properly. But to get to the minus world, you have to enter the warp zone incorrectly. You basically have to break into it. And the method involves something called wall clipping. Now, collision detection in old games is not like modern games. Modern games can afford to check tons of points and handle physics in a more detailed way. But in 1985, the NES couldn't do that. So Mario's collision is basically handled by bounding boxes and a few key points. And that's important because the glitch relies on tricking the game into thinking Mario is inside a wall and then forcing the game to eject him in the wrong direction. So first, you need to be Super Mario or Fire Mario. Then you break specific bricks near the end of 1-2 to create a hanging block. Then you jump in a specific way, crouch, and push against the wall. And if you do it correctly, Mario gets sucked into the wall like the bricks just decided they wanted to consume him. And once you're behind the wall, you can walk into the warp zone pipe area without the screen scrolling correctly. And that is where the game's brain starts melting. Because Mario isn't supposed to be there yet. The game hasn't loaded the correct warp data. And congratulations, you have now entered the forbidden zone. You are now trespassing in the game's code. When you enter the warp zone, normally the camera scrolls across the level, and when it hits a certain point, it triggers a routine that loads the correct destinations into memory. But when you clip through the wall, you enter the warp zone without scrolling far enough to trigger that routine. So the warp pipes are still holding old values. So when you access the warp zone wrong, the game thinks the left pipe goes to world 36, the middle pipe goes to world 5, and the right pipe goes to world 36 again. And the left pipe is the one most players end up taking. So you go to world 36-1, which displays as -1. And suddenly you're in the minus world. Not because it's a hidden secret level, but because the game forgot to update its notes.